welcome everyone to the 17th round of the 2013 GP4 Offline Championship season. I am your host for today, George Rogue, and welcome. Just 3 more rounds left of the season to go. Last time out, the Indian Grand Prix, the last Indian Grand Prix was won by Nicholas Gal quite comfortably in the end, and unfortunately it was quite a boring race, unfortunately, so let's hope here in Abu Dhabi it will be a lot better. But after that one, Florian Volker kept the championship lead, but Nicholas Gal reduced it to just 3 points after winning the Indian Grand Prix. So this is going to be very, very interesting indeed to see what happens here at the Abu Dhabi, or the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi, in the United Arab Emirates. So this is the track map, 21 corners. We've got the long back straight, one of the longest on the calendar. And as we go on board, we're going to have a look as we come into turn 8, where there's usually incidents, but also overtakes, such as we can see from Waze Cooper, who overtook Florian Volker there back in 2012, or last season I should say. Then coming down the straight, we had a big crash in 2011 involving George Roque, coming down past the support pitch, and it was lucky that there wasn't any other cars involved in that, because that was quite a scary crash, to be fair. But anyway, as we come around to the end of the lap, heading into turns 18 and 19, we had a battle between Jiri Mata and Waze Cooper on the final lap of the race, on the battle for P3, which in the end Cooper just managed to win. But anyway, the tyres we'll be using this race will be the hard tyres, the wet tyres, and possibly the wets on the inters and the wet tyres, but I highly doubt that's going to happen with driver today, as you can say, with Nicholas Gal, and De Rossa. But anyway, the starting grid, Nicholas Gal on pole position with Waze Cooper alongside him in second. In third place is Jamie King, followed by Florian Volker in fourth. Move on down the rest of the road. Will Miller is in 5th place, Joseph Willis is in 6th. Coming on to the 4th row of the grid, we have Ribki Hargreaves and Kirosimo De Rossi on a good qualifying on the Polish driver. Onto the 5th row of the grid, we have Armand Carr and George Roque for Force India and Mercedes respectively. Onto row 6, we have Franco Gamba and Alex Southgate for Toro Rosso and McLaren. Better qualifying for Franco Gamba as well. On the 7th row, Robert Ionescu for Lotus and Vedra Katrina for McLaren. 15th place is Oliver Glazebrook for Sauber. 16th place is Willem Wilson for Williams. On to the 9th row of the grid is Rick Yan for Caterham and William Duncan for Toro Rosso. Moving on to the penultimate row of the grid is Roman Parker Williams and David Greenwood for Marussia. And moving on to the last row of the grid is Zachary Fitzwater and Lucas Levi for Caterham and Marussia respectively. So that is the grid for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. As you can see, not really much of a surprise there, but no rain whatsoever for the Grand Prix. So a dry race as usual. Well, we have had a wet qualifying here before, and that was back in 2011, where we had the interesting pit lane entry in wet conditions. I think it was. It was either last season or 2011. My mind goes blank at that time. But anyway, that does not matter right now. What matters right now is we have a race in the 2013 season about to get underway here in Abu Dhabi, as the 5 lights are now coming on. 5 lights are on, and we're underway for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Who's going to get the jump into the first corner? Will Nicholas Gal keep the lead ahead of Waze Cooper? And the answer is yes, he does. He keeps the lead ahead of the Ferrari driver. He goes a little bit wide as all the cars squirm through the first couple of corners, and it looks like so far we've avoided contact as Waze Cooper trying to go around the outside of Gal, not quite working as they now come into the chicane before the back straight. And Cooper going really close there, but he can't quite make a move there. Gal keeps the lead. They head through the chicane. There's Volker in 3rd, McKenzie 4th, another 5th, De Rossi 7th. Williams in 7th as we're looking through the rest of the field. Coming through. And that's Robert Ionescu. Robert Ionescu, I think, has got damage on his front wing. And Robert Ionescu he's actually got damage from right at the start. So I think something has happened at the first turn. And Robert Ionescu, that is going to be bad for his title credentials. And he makes contact with the Toro Rosso there. Franco Gamba goes into the back of him and loses his front wing. Gamba doesn't get any damage, fortunately for him, but it was unfortunate there. They all got a bit stacked up, and there was another crash at the back involving Gamba's teammate Duncan and Roland Moitian for Williams. So what happened there? So I think, was it Duncan going into the back of the Williams? And the answer was yes, it was. Duncan once again getting involved in another incident. Unfortunately, he's not had the greatest of seasons. Certainly has William Duncan as they come through the rest of the lap, as they now literally trying to get through the damaged cars. And the 2 Williams, as we look on the back straight. So that is not good. Ionescu's title hopes. It should be noted that all 6 all drivers in the top 7 are still in with a shout of the title right now, as Volker is now on the inside of Weiskuber coming down the back straight into turn 8. Is he going to make the move stick? And the answer is yes, he does. He moves up into second place, and then Mackenzie's going to have a go at Weiskuber as they come through turn 9. Now coming past the support pit straight, heading towards. And there's a car off in the background, and Oliver Glazebrook has lost his front wing, and I think there's a McLaren that was off in the background. Reggie Madrino, I think, has got damage as well. Zachary Fitzwater gets his way through the field. There's been more chaos around this lap as we're looking on board with Roman Krog trying to squeeze his way through all of this traffic. They head now down towards turn 10, and that was very close there. Oliver Glacier as they're coming down the inside, and there's a Caterham that spun round coming into the corner, and there's another car around, and there's debris everywhere. And what is going on here? It's absolute chaos. Anna Williams has lost his rear wheel, and that is Roland Moitin, who is out of the Grand Prix. Oh my word, what an incredible scene. So Glazebrook is now recovered, so he got spun around somehow. I have no idea what went on there. We need to have a look at the replay. We need to have a look at several of the replays, because there was so much going on there. It was ridiculous. So let's have a look at what happens, how the spin occurred up front. Or we're going to have a look actually at the incident involving Glazebrook, how he sadly lost his front wing. And let's have a look here. The answer was, he went into the back of the McLaren. And it looks like the two McLarens collided with each other, I think. And this is on board Vetrino, and yes, Vetrino goes into the back of his teammate. Oh my goodness me. And the number 1 rule in motorsport, do not hit your teammate, guys. You should know better than that. That's bad from McLaren there. As we look at Vetrino coming down the front straight. So we're going to have a look at what happened coming into turn 10 and what happened with the spin. There was a Caterham that went round, then Oliver Glazebrook got spun around as well, as all the cars were fighting through, all the damaged cars were fighting with each other, and involving some of the rich cars, the ones that weren't broken. Glazebrook got turned around by, I think it was the Marussia there, I think it got turned around by. There's just so many angles to see here. So Glazebrook got turned around by the Marussia there as he came through the corner. Lucky that he didn't get any damage. I don't know if the Marussia got any damage or not. But he spun round. So let's have a Greenwood. Greenwood made it. Oh my word! Greenwood made an absolute lunge coming down into turn 10 onto the Caterham of Zachary Fitzwater. He just lunged it down the inside. Never gonna work. And he spun Fitzwater out, and then Greenwood spun himself around, and that's what caused the McLaren to go into him. Then into Glazebrook, so he has got damage, has Greenwood, so he's going to have to go into the pits and see all the cars just trying to shuffle through all this chaos on the first lap. As we're looking at Nicholas Gal, who's currently in the lead. Fitzwater trying to make his way through as they come around into the corner. And Fitzwater has hit Robert Ionescu, and oh my word, and Robert Ionescu has been hit by Zachary Fitzwater, and that is going to put a major dent to Robert Ionescu's title hopes. Oh my word, I don't know what Fitzwater was really thinking there. That was a really stupid move by Fitzwater. He could have just waited a corner. There's a little mini straight before coming up to the hotel where he could have made that move stick. And unfortunately for him, it has not worked out for him at all. And Fitzwater, I think, has actually got away with damage somehow. But unfortunately for Ionescu, he hasn't got away with it at all, as he's now out of this race. So that is 2 cars, and it somehow isn't more, are out on the first lap. As Florian Volker sets the fastest lap of the race. As we now look at the rest of the field going through into the first, look at the rest of the pack coming into the final couple of corners. Now heading into the first corner, there's Armar battling with Franco Gamba for the last point spot in P10 at the moment. They now come down into the chicane. There's George Roque battling with Richard Hartzane in the Force India, who goes a little bit wide over the curve. Roque can't quite make the move stick on him there. He's now going to have a try and make a move onto the back straight. And it's one of the longest on the calendar. I believe it might be the longest actually. As we're looking at Roque, who's got the slipstream behind Richard Hartzane in the Force India, and surely he's going to make the move coming down the back straight. He's about to go alongside the Force India, and alongside he goes side by side. Is he going to make the move stick coming into turn 8? And the answer is yes, he does. He moves up into P8. And that puts Hartzane down to P9, and now he's got Omar Carr, his teammate for company, and Frankie Gamba as well, who's been brought into this. He's got a very heavy fuel load, Hartzane. That's why he's probably a little bit off the pace. Carr's got a much lighter fuel load, and Gamba's got much lighter than both of these two as well. Now we're looking at the two Red Bulls battling for the lead here. Battle between Nicolas Gal and Florian Volker. Currently Gal leads, so they now come down into down the front straight, heading into the first corners. Now Volker's making a move on the inside of Gal to head into turn 1. He make through, they both go wide as they come through. And oh, there's contact! The Red Bulls have made contact! That is unbelievable. Both Red Bulls have made contact with each other. Oh my word. And the implications on the title could be absolutely incredible. But Florian Volker is out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Nicolas Gal is still going. So Ionescu is out. Florian Volker is out. That gives a good advantage to Jay McKenzie, Waze Kuba, well, and maybe Gal if he can get anything out of this race. But he will not be pleased with what has happened there. So Volker trying to make a move on the inside into the first corner. And then Gal just caught the end of Volker's car there. So we need to have a look on board with from Gal's point of view. So made a late lunge into the corner. They both went quite wide. There wasn't any contact there. That was just the way the car went. And you can see there was the contact. Just caught the end of Volker's car coming into the first corner. My goodness me. That is an unbelievable crash at the start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And what implications we have for the title. And who knows what could happen before the end of this race. And look at him rejoining the track. He rejoined right in front of the I think Mercedes there, George Roper, I think it was. There's now Gamma trying to make a move on the Force India coming into the chicane, but now they've got Gal for company as they're now going side by side, the Force Indias, heading in towards the hairpin, as they've now got the damaged car of Gal, which they're going to get past onto excuse me, onto the front straight, into the back straight I should say, is now Frankie Gamma is going to have the slipstream as he comes now behind Gal. He's going to have even more slipstream, and Chorley's going to make the move coming onto Ricky Hartson, coming into the hairpin and into turn 8, and Gamma is on the inside. Chorley's got it done, has he? And yep, Hartson has to back off, and that's Franco Gamba up into 8th position. So it's a good start for the Toro Rosso drivers. We're looking at De Rossi, who's currently running in P3 right now. That is very impressive indeed. There's Shane McKenzie, who's running in P2 right now. Waze Kuba leading. Waze Kuba really needs a good result as he goes, whoa, goes a little bit wide there. Coming round into the hairpin, coming into turn 8. That could have gone a whole lot worse. And that was very, very lucky indeed that he didn't spin out the car. Coming into turn 7 it was, I should say. Coming out of turn 6 into turn 7, into the hairpin. Unfortunately, no damage was done and he hasn't lost too much time on him. McKenzie's just about hanging on to the back of him. We're now currently on lap 8 of the Grand Prix. As we're looking at Kirosima De Rossa, who is on a very light fuel load, hence why he's been doing so well on pace. And he now comes into the pits for his first pit stop of the Grand Prix. And let's see how quick this pit stop will be for the Sauber pit crew as he goes into the box.
No pressure.
On another fresh set of tyres, 19 laps. So I imagine that is probably going to be. I imagine that might be a 3-stop, I think. I don't know if a 3-stop is necessarily going to be the way to go, but we'll see what happens come the end of the race. As De Rossa now comes down the very long pit exit, which actually goes under the track, as you can see here. Goes under the track, which is a unique feature of this circuit. As he comes out, is he going to come out just inside the points or just outside of it? He's going to come out in P10 by the looks of it. As now Franco Gamba makes a pit stop for Toro Rosso. And let's see where he comes back out on track. He's had a good race so far, Franco Gamba. There have been question marks as to who is going to get the other Toro Rosso seat alongside Robert Hunter, who got it after winning the GP2 championship this year.
No pressure. Just
and also winning, and he also won. He won the GP2 race here as well, I believe. As we look at Franco Gamba about to come out of the pits, he was running just inside the points. He's going to come out, looks like just outside of it actually, as a matter of fact. He's going to come out, it looks like behind Nicolas Gal. He's going to come out in P14. As you make that P50, he's going to come out behind Vedran Vedrina in the McLaren, and he's going to come out into free air, which is going to be important for Gamba. He's only got 15 laps to fill, so it's actually but he's going to pit about the same time that De Rossi, so it looks like probably a 3-stop, I guess. As we're looking at Nicolas Gal, who's right behind Rick Yan in the Caterham, who's behind Roman Quag in the Williams, as they're coming onto the back straight, and Gal's surely going to have both of these two for absolute toast here. He's now right behind in the slipstream, and he's on the inside of Yan, but now Yan's moving, trying to get past Roman Quag, and now he's on the inside of Quag, and is Gal going to try and make a move? coming into the hairpin? And the answer is no. Jan makes the move stick, and now Gal's going to try and go around the outside of Quag, and it doesn't quite work out for him, but he's surely going to have the pace and also the slipstream on those fresher tyres. He's now right behind Quag, who's not too far away from Jan, actually. He's going to probably try and make a move back on him, and yes, he is. He's going to try and make a move. He's on the inside. Oh, there's contact, and Quag spins right in front of Gal, and Jan goes wide, and Gal says, thank you very much, I'll take that. And Roman Quag loses a few positions from that. Unfortunately, you could kind of see that coming, and unfortunately, right there, it happened. Just got a little bit too close. That was a good battle there, but sadly, just a little bit too close for comfort, and Gal just squeezed through, and so did Virginia. He got through, got past Quag, but actually didn't quite get past Rick Jan before he rejoined the track there. So now we're looking at Adrian Virginia right behind Rick Jan, coming round turn 7, the hairpin, onto the back straight. He's right behind the Chinese driver, and surely he's going to make a move coming down the back straight. He's just coming along the inside and alongside the KTM. He is coming down side by side, heading down the back straight, and surely Virginia's got this move done and dusted as they head into the hairpin. And the answer is yes, he does. He makes the move stick, and up into 12th place he goes. Now we're looking at Frankie Gamble. There's Lucas Levi actually battling with Roman Quag in the Williams, and he's now got the slipstream, so he's going to make a move coming into turn 10. He's right behind him. He's going to swap to the inside, and he's on the inside actually, Levi, and he's going to make the move stick on Quag, is he? And yes, he does. That is a good move by the Singaporean driver there. Moves up into P14. So we're now on lap 16 of the race, about quarter of the way there. As you look coming down, we're looking at now at Jay McKenzie making his first pit stop of the race. He was still behind Waze Kuba before the pit stop. So the question is, will he be able to get out in front of Kuba? He's did it before
Just prepare yourself for the first gear.
Driver has. So you can see, I didn't get a chance to see his fuel, so I'm not sure how much longer he will be going for before he pits. The undercut here, I wouldn't say it's not particularly powerful, because I mean the pit lane here is just so long. It's quite a disadvantage when you go in the pit, so you really need to make it count while on the track. So McKenzie comes out in, looks like P5 behind his teammate George Roke, and is he going to come out ahead of Armar Carr? And oh no, he doesn't, and that could have an impact, and that could do very well for Waze Kuba. But McKenzie probably ideally would have wanted to have been ahead of the British driver there and not behind, as we're looking at David Greenwood, who goes into the back of the McLaren there, Vedran Vedrina. They both keep going, although I don't know if Vito went a little bit wide coming round into turn 9 there. Let's have a look. You can just see, unfortunately, he probably wasn't expecting the Croatian driver to probably go in front of him like that, because they came round the next corner, and as we're looking, and oh yes, Vedrina went wide, and has actually kind of done a half spin, and he's going to have to wait for cars to go by him there. That's not a good mistake by the Croatian driver there. So I don't know who you could really blame for that first one, but they went over the curbs. He's lost control of the car there, and sadly for him, he is now going to have to try and recover those positions as quickly as possible. And as we look at Vedrina going sideways to the corner, and then manages to stop the car, but he's going to lose a number of positions. At least we get to see the sponsor on the back of the car very clearly indeed. As he now rejoins down in 13th place, the unlucky 13, some would say. Joseph Willows now comes into the pits for Ferrari. He's not had particularly great season. Well, apart from the win he did at his home race in Silverstone,
no pressure.
It's not really gone to plan so far this season for the British driver. Obviously, it's a battle between him, his teammate Waze Kuba, and George Roke, I should say, for the last Mercedes seat, which is still up for grabs. I'm not sure who's going to get it. Question marks over Roke's future at this moment in time, because unfortunately he's actually the only one out of the top 7 drivers who actually hasn't won a race yet. Speaking of Roke, he now comes in, but he's the only one so far, George Roke, who's yet to win out of the major teams in the top 7 drivers. So it's something which he has been unlucky with. He's had opportunities to win, such as in Japan, where he could have had possibly a battle for the win.
Okay, no
I don't know if he
pressure.
would have won it though, but he could have had a battle for the win there. But sadly, his engine let go. And if you want to also see the highlight for the Japanese Grand Prix, the live stream is now available on the channel. So after this video, you can take a look on the page.
Okay, no pressure.
Anyway, Armacano coming into his pit stop.
First gear.
And let's see, 18 laps of fuel, so that he is on a 2-stop, and I imagine Roby's on a 2-stop as well. It'd be foolish. You have to leave ridiculous if either of these guys decide to put didn't put much fuel in and decide to go on a 3. It'd be way too late, but I don't think that will happen. As we're now looking at Armor Car about to come out of the pits, and where is he going to come out on track? Will he come out actually ahead of, I think was it? I think he was battling with, I'm not sure if he did. But anyway, here comes the race leader, Waze Kuba comes in for his pit stop of the race. 25 laps he's been.
Okay, no pressure.
15 laps of fuel, yeah.
Just prepare yourself for the first.
He will be pitting once more before the end of this race, and I imagine he'll come out ahead of Jay McKenzie. He had a bit of a lead over him. I mean, McKenzie wasn't exactly letting him particularly go get too far away from him, but we'll see. But Kuba is going to come out, looks like, I think, behind Will Nella, and he does, so he's going to come out in P2, but Nella obviously still has to pit. And so it'll be interesting to see what the gap was between the front two, and there's a car off it, and oh, that's Mikolos Gal, and Mikolos Gal has blown his chance by the looks of it to get any points out of this race, and his title hopes have also gone up in kind of smoke there. And what happens? So he just made a pit stop, and oh my word, he makes contact with the Marussia there of Lucas Levi, I think it was, coming out of the pits. And yes, it was Lucas Levi, just came out at exactly the wrong time. And as they came into the corner, Gal kind of steered into Levi there and got lifted up into the air, and then lost his right wheel, and the front wing went across the large bit of of track, of blue track, or the sea, by the looks of it. So he goes across the sea and then into the barriers and loses his other wheel. But that is going to be good news for Kuba. Kuba McKenzie and Will Nella. That is going to be great news for them. So actually, with both Red Bulls out of the race now, be interested to see who's actually going to lead. I think third place was Will Nella, so I think Will Nella might be the driver, if he gets a good result, who could lead the championship after this race. We will see. We'll go on board with Lucas Levi coming through turn 3. As you can see, there was the contact there, right there, and there Gal's car just goes off, and Levi fortunately gets away without any damage. He was actually pitting this lap, funnily enough. I bet Gal probably wishes he pitted on the same lap as he did, and he would have avoided this shenanigan. But there it is. There is the contact right there, and there goes Gal's car into the Gulf Stream, and Levi continues along his merry way, as Mikolos Gal will sadly not go along his way and have to retire from this Grand Prix. So that is sadly his race done. As we look at it once again in full time, that is a pretty scary incident, I have to say. Pretty scary as we look at Gal's car going all the way down to the barriers. So we're nearly at the halfway point of this race. As we now look at Will Nella, who is leading the Grand Prix. There was a brief, I think, yellow flag there. I think Alex Southgate may have been involved in something. So he was battling with Zachary Fitzwater coming down the front straight, and oh yep, it was exactly what happened with Vidrina and Rick Yan. A bit of deja vu there. And fortunately, well, the only good thing about it for Southgate was he didn't do the mistake that his teammate did, Vidrina, and spin coming out of the curb, but he still kept on going. As now Will Nella finally comes into his first pit stop. Will he go to the end? Because he's done.
No pressure.
About
just
halfway.
For the first gear.
So yes, actually, Will Nella will go to the end on that set of tyres. So he's one of the only ones, I think. Well, actually, I don't know the others who are on the one-stop strategy. We need to have a look to see. But Will Nella will be going to the end. So let's see if he can have any influence on the top two. I don't I'm not entirely convinced though, because I mean the gap to McKenzie's gone past the finish line a while back, so I think Nella needs to really conserve his tyres, to get into the end obviously, but also if he wants to have maybe any chance of getting second or maybe a win. I don't know, that might be out of his grasp. And oh, that's David Greenwood for Marussia, who is out of the Grand Prix. And what has happened there And I don't know if he's had a crash or not. I mean, it doesn't appear to be any technical failure, so I believe he may have crashed. I'm not sure. It's a very unusual place that's just coming under the hotel. You don't see very many crashes there, that is for sure. So we need to have a look at what happened for sure. And let's have a look. And yet, by the looks of it, it was a crash. I don't think there was any. There wasn't any car near him. My car wasn't particularly close to him, and yeah, it just went wide and went into the wall, and that was his race done. Oh dear, that was a shame for David Green because he was actually having quite a good race. He was actually pitting soon, but he was having a good race in 7th, and unfortunately, he's going to be getting absolutely nothing out of it. And Carr, yes, you can see he was close, but there was no contact made from the Force India. So unfortunately for the Marussia, he has gone into the barriers there, and that is his race done. Another retirement, sadly, for David Greenwood. He's had a very encouraging season. Well, he obviously will be driving for Lotus next year, so that's which is certainly good news for him. It means he stays in for another year and can maybe progress his career up the ladder. But anyway, we're looking at Rick Yan for Caterham coming in for a pit stop, and let's see how quick the pit stop will be for the Chinese driver as he comes into his box. I don't know if he's actually pitted already this race, but he obviously will be going to the end. 25 laps of fuel put in. Lap 34, that would easily make it to the end. Make it to about probably lap 58, 59, and obviously there are only 59 laps of this, 55 I should say, laps of this race. Is now looking at Rifki Hussain in the Force India, who is coming into the pits. He's had a long line of retirements. I think it's, is it 6? I think 6 retirements in a row, which is either 6 or 7. Unfortunately, my memory is pretty terrible, but it's sadly a new record of retirements for the Indonesian driver, and he'll hope to finish the race today to get some more points, because he's. Since he got that podium, unfortunately, it has gone. Just everything that could have gone wrong for Hussain has gone wrong for him. I mean, such as I think it was in the German Grand Prix, the German Grand Prix, where he suffered an engine failure. I think with 2 laps to go when he was running in the points. That's just one example. We could just name a few others. And none. Oh, that's Franco Gamba. Oh no, Franco Gamba in the Toro Rosso has blown his engine, and he's having a very encouraging race. Probably one of the most encouraging performances he's done in a while. And sadly, he's going to get absolutely nothing from this race. Very disappointing there for the Italian driver. Oh dear, oh dear. And it is, as you can see there, an engine problem that is going to cause the end of Franco Gamba's day. Disappointing for the Italian, as I said, so he will get no points out of this race. Still going to be question marks over his and Duncan's future for Toro Rosso. It'll be interesting to see, to see which of the two get the seat, because Duncan, although Gamba's not scored as many points as Duncan has been involved in a number of instances this year, particularly on the first lap, which will not do his chances of a drive any good. But it's going to be interesting to see with just 2 races to go. As you can see, just coming down. And the engine actually blew just straight away. It wasn't the fact that he had a problem and then eventually the engine blew. It came up straight away without any warning. He was running in P10 and he was going to have to make one more stop. So he was looking good for probably getting maybe a point or so. But as I said, sadly, for Franco Gamba, he's going to get nothing as he pulls off, coming down in towards turn 13. And there he goes. There goes the car. Pulls off and puts it by the barriers, where he's pushed away by the marshals. If we look at Waze Cooper, currently still in the lead by 16 seconds. Blimey, how's he managed to get that far ahead? That is quite a gap to Jay McKenzie. I didn't think it was that huge, but Waze Cooper now comes into his final stop of the Grand Prix. I'm quite baffled, really. I don't understand how actually the gap is that huge, to be honest. I mean,
no pressure.
It certainly wasn't very big coming to the first pit stop, but obviously Waze Cooper must have a lot better pace than Jay McKenzie has. But obviously McKenzie will have to pit before the end, so he goes ahead, and I imagine probably Will Neller will go ahead of McKenzie as well, as now Joseph Willows comes in and makes his final stop of the race for Ferrari. And let's see where he comes out onto the track. Into the pits he comes. Obviously be fueled to the end, 21 laps, there we go.
Just prepare yourself.
So he's had a relatively quiet race. Joseph Williams hasn't really been spectacular, but it hasn't really been bad. Kind of just stayed out of trouble, really. Just been a good boy, so to speak. But Arnold Carr now comes in for Force India. It's been a good race by him. It's been a good race by both Force Indias. To be fair, not done too badly at all. So let's hope, let's just pray that Ricky Hussein's car stays intact, and also that he doesn't get involved in any stupid incidents before the end. Before the end of the race. He's still got 17 laps to do so. So let's just hope that he doesn't get involved in anything, and let's hope the car actually manages to get to the end as well in the other Force India. So anyway, let's as we see car coming out the pits. Where's he going to come out? Is he going to come out ahead of Lucas Levi? And he's just come across the finish line, so I think car is just going to come out ahead of the Singaporean drivers now. Vedran Vedrina comes in for his last stop for McLaren.
Okay, no pressure.
And let's see
Just prepare yourself
where he
for the
comes
first
out
gear.
on track. It's almost like in the lower end of the points right now. 5-second stop, down to 8th place. Well, I imagine it'll be down probably a little bit further once drivers come over the finish line. And as he comes out the very long, it's probably a more agonisingly long pit lane, I imagine. Takes ages, and then you have to get right to the bottom, and then yes, now I can go, finally. And in the end he does. And now into the pits for his final stop of the race is Kirosima De Rosa. And now into the pits he comes for his final stop. Let's see, I mean he's down in 7th, so he's actually faded away actually quite badly from where he was at the start. So obviously the 3-stop strategy, sadly for him, hasn't really worked out, and he's lost a number of positions. So it looks like definitely the 2-stop was the way to go. The 3-stop, not really a good strategy to do on this track, to be honest. He's going to drop down all the way, it looks like, down to P9. He's going to drop down quite a few positions, maybe even P10. Is he going to... no, in fact, he's actually going to drop to P10. Wow, so that is... but at least he'll have the fresher tyres, so we'll see what he can do. He just comes out ahead there of Rick Yan out of the pits, and now Yan trying to make a move on the inside, but he can't quite do it. As now Jamie Kenty comes in for his final stop of the Grand Prix. He's gone the latest on these set of tyres, and Alex Southgate, as you can see on the graphic below, has also come into the pits. So Jamie Kenty comes is in, sorry I should say, and obviously we'll go to the end, and always has to wait a little bit there for Alex Southgate to go out. So that's not going to help if he wants to have any chance of catching the leader Wade Stewart, but I don't think he's going to, because I mean look how far away he is, and he hasn't even actually got to the bottom of the pits yet, and it looks like will Nella come out in front of him? I'm not sure. He's actually just come across the finish line. It actually could be close, but I think because he's going to come out in second, as now George Roke comes into the pits, I should say. Will Nella actually is in third, as you can see, so it has worked. So
okay, no pressure.
George Roke comes into the pits. Where is he going to come out? It'll be interesting to see. He's just a few seconds behind Nella. So the 5.5 second stop. Question marks about Roke's future in the series. Had a quiet if unspectacular race really. And as he comes out the pits, and it looks like he actually might come out in P4, because Willis has yet to come across the line, and it looks like he has. So Roke, who didn't seem to be known, is actually going to get top 4 from this race. But we're looking anyway at Alex Southgate, who is battling with Roman Quagg, the Frenchman in front of him, as they're coming now down on to the back straight, and now Southgate is right behind the Williams driver, and now comes down alongside him down the back straight, and surely Southgate is going to have this move done and dusted, coming into the hairpin, and he is going to get it done, and Quagg can't do anything about it, and there we go. That is the move done, as we're looking at Kirosima De Rosa here running in 9th position for Sauber. And you can see he all gets a little bit wide over the curbs there, has a little bit of a bounce, and he's lucky that he doesn't go into the wall there, so that was a close encounter there for the Polish driver. But anyway, here we are on the last lap of the Grand Prix, and here is your race leader, Wade Kuba. And he was, remember just a few races ago, he actually was leading the championship. Then he had a really torrid run, and he lost a lot of ground. And I mean, had he not had a good race here, he would have for sure been out of the championship, and he is quite a bit behind, but he is going to gain a lot from what has happened this race. So Wade Kuba is set, if he can get to the end, that is set to keep his slim title hopes alive. And so Mackenzie's in second, Will Miller is in third. It'll be very interesting to see what the driver's standings will be like. But I don't believe the Red Bulls will be 1 and 2 after this race. Once it's over, as Waze Cooper coming down past the support pit. He's got the Caterhams in front of him, but he doesn't have to worry. He's got a 16.5 second lead over Jay McKenzie. He's really dominated this race, taking the lead after the Red Bulls were involved in their collision on the third lap, and he's never really looked back. He's looked very comfortable. Definitely one of Kuba's more reassuring performances. He's done very well this race, as he's now coming around through the final sector. And Waze Kuba, who was leading the championship, it may not be enough this win, but he's certainly going to keep himself in the title hunt as he comes around the penultimate corner into turn 20. And finally, he comes around into the final corner, into turn 21, and coming down the front straight. And Waze Kuba is going to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix to keep his faint title hopes alive. Congratulations to him. And Jay McKenzie set to come home in P2, and his title hopes are well and truly on as he comes now down through the final corner, and now he comes across the line to take P2. Lucas Levi just missing out on the points in 11th place. Alex Southgate, disappointing race for him, comes across the line in P12. And now coming round the final corner is Wilnella, who's going to be in third position. So is Wilnella going to lead, or is it going to be Jay McKenzie who leads? We will have to wait and see. But that is the top three anyway. Cooper in first, Jay McKenzie second, and Wilnella in third. So now we're waiting for George Roke in Mercedes to come across the line in fourth position. As he now comes Roman Quag comes across the line in P13. So not a great result for him. And here is George Roke, who's going to come across the line. Had a pretty lonely race, but he's going to get P4, so I guess that's not too bad of a result. But he comes across the line and to take fourth position. Now Joseph Willis is to come around in fifth place, and is just going to fend off Vedran Vedrina for P5, and he just comes across the line with Vedrina right behind him in P6. And finally, as he comes around the final corner, Ricky Hartstein is finally going to finish a race, and more importantly, finish a race in the points. So well done to him. It's been a torrid run of bad luck for the Indonesian driver there, but he finally gets the points that he deserves. Now William Duncan comes across the line P14. Glazebrook in P15. Amar Carter to come across the line in P8 with Kirosova de Rosa just behind. He had such an encouraging start, but sadly the three-step didn't work in P9. And Rick Yan will take a point for Caterham. That's a good result for him. He comes across the line in P10. And Zachary Fitzwater, the last one to come across the line, in P16. But there is Waze Cooper, your race winner. So that has been the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And now let's take a look at the final race results. So here we go. Waze Cooper wins from Jay McKenzie second, Wilnella in third, George Roke in fourth, Joseph Willis fifth, Vedran Vedrina sixth, Ricky Hartstein seventh, Carr eighth, De Rossa ninth, and Ricky Han completing the points, with the following drivers a lap down: Lucas Levi, Alex Southgate, Roman Quag, William Duncan, Oliver Glazebrook, and Zachary Fitzwater, with Gamba, Greenwood, Gal, Volker, Ionescu, and Moitin not finishing this race. The fastest lap was actually set by Jay McKenzie, with Gal second, Vedrina third, Volker fourth, Cooper fifth, Roke in sixth, Southgate seventh, De Rossa eighth, Nella ninth, Willows 10th, Hartstein 11th, Levi 12th, that's a good pace for him, Glazebrook, Yan, Gamba, Carr, Duncan, Greenwood, Quag, Fitzwater, Ionescu, and Moitin, who obviously didn't set a fast lap because they were obviously out on the first lap. But here are the points. So Wilnella leads by 5 points ahead of Florian Volker, with Nicolas Gal in third position. And I didn't realise McKenzie was actually further away than he was, but he's on 179, with Ionescu dropping down on 167, with Waze Kubert just keeping his title hopes alive on 155. But now Roke and Willows are officially out of the title race with just 2 races to go. The rest of the order being Vedrina, De Rossa, Arxane, Carr, Holst, Greenwood, Southgate, Moitin, Duncan, and the rest of the order just went past on the screen. Anyway, and in the constructor standings, Red Bull lead the the constructors, I should say, with 374 points, with Lotus 20 points behind, 23 points behind on 351. Mercedes third with 323, Ferrari fourth with 281, McLaren fifth with 140, then Sauber in sixth, Force India seventh, Williams eighth, Toro Rosso in ninth, Mercia 10th, and Caterham last, with every team scoring a point this season. Well, that has been the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we will see you for the penultimate round, the American Grand Prix at COTA. Thanks for watching, and see you then.